This is Dean on the scene for Arlington in the Morning. I'm here at the red carpet, the DC premiere of Operation Finale. Stay tuned for some exclusive interviews with the cast and crew of this upcoming film. Stay tuned, you do not want to miss it. This is Dean on the scene for Arlington in the Morning. We're here at the Meyerhoff Theater at the Holocaust Memorial Museum in our nation's capital for the DC premiere of Operation Finale. Finale brings to life one of the most covert operations in modern history, starring Academy Award winner Sir Ben Kingsley and Golden Globe winner Oscar Isaac. The film vividly captures the ingenious and brilliantly executed mission to capture Adolf Eichmann, one of the chief architects of the Holocaust. Here's your first look at Operation Finale.
Him. It's him.
Why is there a second boss? And that cyclist, I don't know, something feels off.
Your call. Start the engine.
So tell us, how did you feel about playing Adolf Eichmann?
As you probably know, in my history, I portrayed Simon Wiesenthal, the great Nazi hunter, in a series called Murders Amongst Us. I played Isaac Stern, who was Schindler's accountant in the film Schindler's List. And I also portrayed Otto Frank, who's Anne Frank's father. In the course of those films, I met many extraordinary Holocaust survivors who very courageously and bravely were able to share their stories. They are a dwindling number of people. And also what is quite horrifying is that there are still people around who deny the existence of the Holocaust and its place in history. Therefore, it's of huge importance for us to continually remind people that man's inhumanity to man can descend to bestial levels. Also, may I remind you that this film is redemptive because it is a story of a successful hunt for a criminal, and also showing Israel's great restraint and civilized nature, not shooting him in the back of the head, but bringing him home to Israel to be tried in a court. That is a remarkable achievement.
Tell us what it was like taking this role as Peter Malkin in the movie.
Well, I was really excited to be a part of this film. Really, it was those scenes with Peter Malkin and Adolf Eichmann in that room together after he's been captured and they have him there. That's really why I wanted to do the movie. I just found it just so incredible, the story that this man had him in his hands and he decided to treat him like a human being and not torture him and not kill him and not, the person that's responsible for so much atrocity, so much horror, and yet he decided to treat him like a human being and to talk to him and to really search for a real truth, not an easy one.
Well, this is your very first film writing for a major motion picture. And I'd like to know, what made you want to pen Operation Finale?
Well, I did a little bit of research. I studied history at university and had come across this story and found through reading his autobiography this amazing story of Peter Malkin. And it struck me as a brilliant way of telling the story of a key moment in Israeli history. And his story in particular sort of resonated with a moment in history that Israel was going through. And I saw in there a really suspenseful, exciting, but also important story. And so I set about writing it.
But you played the director of the Mossad, Isser Harel, and I'd like to tell everyone who don't know about him, what can you tell us about him?
Isser was the head of the Mossad and the head of the Shin Bet at the same time. So it was the most powerful man in Israel in those days. He was the friend of Ben Gurion, and he controlled everything. He knew everything about everyone. He was like the head of the Mossad and the head of the Shin Bet. It's like a big, powerful. Since then, the Shin Bet have someone who is in charge of it, and the Mossad have someone else. So because it's so powerful, and he was very creative mind, guy. He actually thought about this maneuver, how to bring Eichmann. He was very powerful. And also, he went there as the head of the Mossad to control everything on field. It's not happening, you know. Most of the time, the head of the Mossad, or the head of, I don't know, the army, staying in the bunker and just maneuvering everything. But he was there to control it from a close look.
Tell me, what drew you to the project of Operation Finale?
Well, I had grown up sort of thinking about a lot of these issues because my dad was a German Jewish refugee who eventually joined the American Army and served in the OSS, which was like the precursor to the CIA. And he was a specialist in the Nazi Party and eventually wrote some books about it. So when I was growing up, these kinds of stories were around the house. So it was a way for me to address something that was very important to my father, something that was important to me growing up.
What was the most surprising fact that you found out about Peter Malkin and the story?
I mean, it's incredible reading about his interactions with Eichmann and the way in which he got so close to such an awful individual. It was amazing hearing his account of his conversations with Eichmann and the conversations that they exchanged.
So when taking a role like this, as opposed to say like bigger films like, of course, Star Wars, was it easy to take this role? Did you have to think about it? What was the thought process like when you decided to choose this role?
Well, it's also the first. It's the first film that I've, as an actor, that I've produced as well. So I think that for me that was very exciting. It was such a moving story, and it was an opportunity to really get to shape the whole story along with Chris, and so. I just thought it was a wonderful opportunity, so I didn't have to think too much about it.
Considering that World War II has been over for almost 2 generations, what is the relevance of a film like this for today's generation? When they see this movie, what's something they should be able to take home from it?
Well, I think what's incredible, and it's really a testament to Sir Ben Kingsley's portrayal of Eichmann, is that the guy's not some crazy monster from another world. He was just a human being that had a family, that loved his wife, that loved his kids, and so it's people. They're human beings that are capable of doing such horrible atrocities. And I think to stay vigilant, you hear language nowadays that sounds very similar to the way things were going back then, of division and hatred to the other, and it can easily tip into that direction.
And what do you hope audiences will take away after watching the film?
I hope that, well, first of all, I hope that they're entertained because that's our first job as filmmakers. But I also hope it makes them think about how the situations that brought about the Holocaust could happen in any country under the right circumstances. It's not just about anti-Semitism, it's about race hatred of all forms and the way that is exploited by politicians.
Thank you so much to the cast and crew of Operation Finale. We're looking forward to the film when it's released on August 29th. Reporting from our nation's capital, this is Dean on the scene for Arlington in the Morning. Hey y'all, this is Dean on the scene for the Rogers Revue. If you like this red carpet video and want to see more, make sure to subscribe to us at the Rogers Revue on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. See you out there.